You are the type of owner who does everything right. You feed your dog well, you take them on walks, you give them love. And yet, every single morning before you even say goodbye, your dog is already falling apart. Not because of anything dramatic, because of your coffee, the sound of your kettle, the grind of your coffee maker. These ordinary, invisible moments are quietly training your dog to panic, and most owners never see it coming. Separation anxiety is one of the most misunderstood conditions in dog behavior. Most people think it starts when they leave. It doesn't. It starts long before the door closes. In this video, we are going inside your morning routine to show you exactly how your daily rituals are wiring your dog's nervous system for distress, and what's actually happening in their brain while you make breakfast. Let us start with something most owners completely overlook: sound. Your dog's hearing is not just sharper than yours, it's fundamentally different in the way it processes meaning. Dogs can detect frequencies between 40 Hz and 65,000 Hz. You top out around 20,000. But more important than range is what they do with that information. Dogs are pattern recognition machines. They do not just hear sounds. They sequence them. They build timelines out of them. So here's what's actually happening at 7 in the morning. You wake up. Your dog registers the specific creak of your bedroom door, then footsteps. Then the coffee grinder kicks on at roughly 900 to 1000 Hertz, a sharp mechanical whir that cuts through the house. Or maybe it is the kettle, building to that high-pitched whistle somewhere north of 2000 Hertz. These are not just sounds to your dog. They are chapter markers. They are the opening sequence of a story that always ends the same way. You leave. This is the Pavlovian mechanism in action, and it is worth understanding exactly how it works before we go further. Ivan Pavlov famously showed that dogs could be conditioned to associate a neutral stimulus, a bell, with a biological response, salivation, simply through repeated pairing. The bell meant food. Eventually, the bell alone triggered the physical reaction. What's happening in your kitchen every morning is the same process, but the outcome isn't salivation. It's cortisol. It's a spike in stress hormones. It's a nervous system shifting into a high arousal threat state. Your coffee grinder is the bell. Your departure is the food. Except in this case, the food is abandonment. And here's the part that makes this so insidious. You do not need to leave immediately after the grinder runs. You might sit down for 20 minutes, scroll through your phone, drink your coffee slowly. It doesn't matter. The association is already made. The moment that sound fires, your dog's brain has already started processing what comes next. The cortisol is already rising. The pacing, the whining, the shadow behavior, the inability to settle, that's not your dog being dramatic. That is a biological stress response that has been conditioned into them, one morning at a time, for months or years. Now let us talk about something that's made this dramatically worse in the last few years. Smart appliances. Automatic coffee makers with scheduled brew times. Smart kettles that can be activated from your phone. Programmable routines that turn on at the same time every single morning. These devices were designed for human convenience. And from a dog psychology standpoint, they are anxiety accelerants. Here's why. Traditional conditioning requires your presence to build the association. You make the coffee, you leave. The dog connects the two because you are part of the chain. But a programmable coffee maker changes the equation entirely. The machine turns on at 647 every morning regardless of whether you are even awake. The grinder runs. The smell of coffee fills the house. And your dog's nervous system has now been conditioned to a timer, not to you. This creates what behaviorists sometimes call a predictable departure window. Your dog doesn't just know you are leaving after the coffee runs. They know you are leaving at a specific time, triggered by a specific sound, in a specific sequence. The anxiety doesn't build when you grab your keys anymore. It builds at 647, every day. including weekends when you are not leaving at all, which creates a different problem entirely. The mismatch between the signal and the reality starts to create generalized anxiety, a baseline stress state that never fully resolves. And the arousal doesn't just stay at a low simmer. It compounds. Every morning that the ritual plays out and ends in departure, the emotional weight of those sounds gets heavier. The coffee grinder becomes more charged. The kettle whistle becomes more urgent. The dog's stress response becomes faster, more intense, harder to bring down. This is why separation anxiety tends to get worse over time rather than better. The loop isn't just repeating, it's tightening. Let us add one more layer because this is where it gets really important to understand. Your dog is not consciously thinking, the grinder means you are leaving. This isn't a cognitive process. It's subcortical. It's happening in the parts of the brain that govern survival responses, the amygdala, the limbic system. The same structures that make a human flinch at a loud noise before they've even registered what it was. This response bypasses rational thought entirely, which is why you cannot just reassure your dog out of it. You cannot tell them it is fine. Their body is already operating on a different system. This also means that standard advice, like ignoring your dog before you leave or making your exits boring, addresses only the tail end of the problem. If the stress response is fully activated by the time you grab your keys, then making your goodbye low-key is closing the barn door after the horse has bolted. The horse bolted at 647 when the coffee started brewing. Understanding this is the first step toward actually changing it. The trigger isn't your departure. The trigger is the ritual that predicts your departure. And because it is a conditioned association, it can be deconditioned. But you cannot decondition what you haven't identified. That's exactly why this matters. Most owners spend months trying to address the symptoms, the barking, the destruction, the distress, without ever asking what fires the starting gun. Now you know. It's the coffee maker. It's the kettle. It's the sequence of sounds and smells your morning produces like clockwork, and it has been quietly programming your dog's nervous system every single day. If any part of this resonated, keep watching. The next step is understanding how to interrupt this loop before it fires, because once you can see the trigger clearly, you actually have a real shot at changing what comes after it. Everything we just covered is the foundation. What comes next is where things start to shift for your dog. Thanks for watching. If you loved this video, scan the QR code on the screen right now to subscribe and join the Pawsome Life family. Give your dog a belly rub for us, and we will see you in the next video.